We are back from a little hiatus because the Masters legitimately drained my body of my soul. I'm Nick, here with the NBA Nightcap, joined by Lucas and Dave, my other co-hosts. We are glad to have you here on what's been a fun time in the NBA. Some great games and some unfortunate times. Tonight we're going to talk about the injuries that have been plaguing the NBA. We're going to talk about the play-in tournament drama that Mark Cuban and other owners are upset about because their teams are now close to the play-in tournament. They never thought that one through. And then, some Nuggets talk, some gambling talk. We're back full force. We took a break this season because of COVID. Now, since players are getting vaccines and everything, we're working into it. And we're fully back in, let's be honest. It wasn't a work in, it was like that. Now, this is the NBA Nightcap podcast. I am here with my glass of tequila and ice because I'm a gentleman and a scholar. My button down on. What do we got going on, guys? Any sipping? I know it's late on a Wednesday.
Some wine.
Ooh, you got one of those cool glasses.
I was gonna say you got one of those fancy glasses, don't you?
Yeah, they sit on their own. So any angle is just gonna sit there all pretty.
And then you don't shatter it,
I got the remainder of this box. I think there's one glass left in this. Maybe like a half a glass, actually. I think I overestimated it. But we're gonna kill that.
Overestimating's never a thing you do.
Got some I'm also classy. I got some bird dog.
There we go.
Bird dog.
The bird dog call out.
Dave, my mom and you drink the same type of alcohol, that Pink Whitney. I had a shot with her the other day.
Oh, delicious.
I mean, it's just pink lemonade, so I mean, I'm more of like, sit on the yacht drinking my ice. Lucas is oh no, is that Trey?
That's a great segue into our injuries.
Ooh, so right now, it is. Oh, first of all, go get yourself a drink. Blah blah blah. We're gonna rush into this. It is 4:21, 9:40 p.m. Eastern time, and our topic today is injuries in the NBA with this short and compressed season. We've had a ton of injuries going on. I think the Grizzlies, because of the Wizards getting COVID, have like 17 games in like a 30-day span or something like that. It's just incredible. And Trae Young is currently being walked off the court with looks like a knee.
It's a high ankle sprain.
Oh, high ankle. Thank you, Dr. Lucas.
Well, he was holding
MD.
He was holding that high ankle.
How
is this? There, man. Those are not fun.
So we have Trae now. We have Jamal Murray, who just got his ACL surgery today.
Dude, you could go down the list.
LeBron James, Kawhi Leonard, Anthony Davis, Dame's out right now. Nurkic's out still.
Nurkic's out. All of
Philly, Ben Simmons, Tobias Harris. I mean,
was just out.
Embiid came back. I actually don't know who plays basketball anymore.
It's getting hard to figure that out.
I mean, we're in on a bad term, but we're gambling on the team with the most against the team with the most injuries. We're just like, all right, they don't have anyone. They have 7 guys, yeah. And I'm staying away from the minus 18.5s right now just because they keep screwing me.
That's when the G Leaguers step up out of nowhere.
Yeah,
and score 35 points.
There's probably Dave's notification about Trae going down.
Yep.
Yeah. See, I mean, good for your Knicks right now.
We're still down 6. And
but my bet blows if the Knicks come back and win this, and my bet loses because Andrew Wiggins missed the wide open game tying layup. I'm gonna lose my mind.
Now we went into the season expecting a lot of injuries. I mean, the shortened season, it was a short off season. No one was in shape. We got to the 72 just for money, right? Like, that's essentially confirmed.
It was a necessity.
Yeah. I mean, we knew it was going to happen. It sucks. I think it just sucks for the league right now because it's a superstar-driven league, and if I mean, just even I can't watch Lakers games. They drive me insane. Every time I turn it on, I'm just like, oh my god, I'm watching Caldwell Pope take 15 shots a game. I can't do this. Can't do it right now. I,
Yeah, the Lakers are unwatchable. The Nets, that's who we forgot. Forgot James Harden and
oh yeah,
KD.
Yeah.
The Nets is pretty much just the Kyrie show.
I do love that
Pretty
though.
pretty much like all any like good teams, I guess that are are skating by without injuries is oh my god. You know what team I was gonna say first? I was gonna say good team Suns. And I couldn't believe myself for a second.
0 injuries, baby.
Yeah, well,
Never have done it.
you had the Booker thing for like what, a week, 2 weeks?
Booker, Crowder is probably gonna skip the next game against the Celtics, but other than that, like we haven't had knock
Serious.
on all the freaking wood you can find. Nothing that have to do with Chris Paul or Booker for an extended period of time, or Aiton. Aiton is actually turned into like the key. I don't know. I think like we got real lucky with these injuries so far, and COVID too. Like the Celtics have been ravaged with COVID.
Mm-hmm.
These
Probably
younglings.
blame Tristan Thompson on that one, given the whole team COVID. But like right now, like Marcus Smart's out and Kemba's out, and they have undisclosed. This is a weird thing that I've seen. They so Shams every week posts the weekly how many NBA players
Yeah.
got COVID.
Mm-hmm.
So this was the first week, I think, after the last two that had none. There's three this week. But there's been a trend that I saw on Reddit where they stopped saying like COVID, like illness, and now there's undisclosed illnesses coming out.
Oh,
Which I don't know if that's their health and safety protocol being relabeled something, but
probably.
like Marcus Smart, Kemba, um, Seth Curry tonight. There's a ton of NBA players that are keep going in and out of lineups with undisclosed illnesses. And I don't maybe that's just a resting thing too. I don't know. But
Well,
it does feel weird to rest anyone on the Celtics right
what team just got?
So,
Someone just got fined for it. For
now. The Spurs.
Spurs, yeah,
mm-hmm.
improper resting or.
So I know like to go like super whatever. So with like the post office, you can't say that people have COVID because it's a hippo or HIPAA. I can't remember which
Because of
law.
HIPAA, yeah.
HIPAA. Okay, yeah.
Um,
So it's I wonder if the same exact thing is starting to happen with NBA as well.
You can't
Interesting.
name the players, but like stating that someone in the area has like someone in the Celtics organization has COVID. Like that's
Well, then it takes
Right.
2 seconds to be like, all right, someone in the Celtics organization has it. Kemba Walker is not playing tonight. Oh, I wonder who it is.
yeah, it's I mean, you're an NBA player. If you're not there and it's like, oh, some illness, it's like, all right, cool. We got you.
That
But
Mm-hmm.
makes a lot of sense if that's what's happening.
um there is players now getting the vaccine. Certain teams, well, there's still people who don't want to get it, but it is starting to kind of like move in. We're kind of getting to this thing where it's fans are in the arenas now. We're starting to get a little more normal basketball. It's nicer to watch. There's some
Yeah.
there's some noise in there. It's not just like seems like some people are starting to play a little more. I know Embiid said that like it's great to have the crowd noise in, just having the Philly fans here. I mean, they may have been chanting MVP for Steph instead of him, but deserved it.
Yeah,
Fuck Philly. Hate them
Aw.
right now. They cost me money every time I touch them. New York. New York's got fans. I saw COTY was there, Lucas. He went to the Knicks game yesterday. Stupid.
Good for him.
Yeah. Now, obviously, Jamal Murray's injury, the ACL.
Yeah.
Let's kind of segue into that.
I know that
It's
feeling, Jamal Murray.
it's
You were one.
it's huge. It's huge for the Nuggets for two major things. This season, which we can talk about, I didn't think they were a high contender. I thought they were kind of a fringe contender. They were starting to put it together. It's not so much this season, it's next season. So he's out a year, at least.
Yeah.
it's gonna go into 5 months into the next season, and then it becomes Michael Porter Jr. needs to get paid. Aaron Gordon might need to get repaid. Jokic is going to be coming up on his next extension. Like the money,
What are you insinuating? Are you insinuating something?
there's going to be a lot of money needing to go into Denver. I'm just saying.
Well, and they already paid Jamal Murray a metric shit ton.
Yeah, I mean, luckily for that, they get the disability and they'll get some money back. But like, the window that we always talk about, a lot smaller. It is tiny, and who knows? I mean, ACLs are obviously they've become wonders ever since the Adrian Peterson season. After he got his ACL worked on, he looked like a human being.
Right.
Most before that, no one looked like they could ever walk again.
Or D Rose.
Well, D Rose had like 12 of them. He had nothing left.
Once again, I feel you, D Rose. Me and you.
So, in the context of the Nuggets, okay, so they want to keep that 5 core, right? So you got Michael Porter Jr., you got Jokic, you got Aaron Gordon now, you got Will Barton. That's your starting 5. You will not see Jamal Murray play basketball until 2023.
Or late
Late
2022.
2022.
Late 2022.
Maybe playoff time. Because they'll go back to the regular season next year.
All right. So in this hypothetical world I'm building, he doesn't make it back next year. It's like a clay injury. It's this year and next year.
Which is probably smart.
Is there a scenario where the Nuggets go, he's still super valuable? Do we try to trade him while injured?
No.
Yes.
No.
That's what I was thinking.
I don't think so.
There's got to be a sneaky someone in that
Mhm.
office that doesn't have an emotional attachment to Jamal Murray, thinking like a lot of teams love this dude and are willing to sit on him for a year. Like a lot of them.
It's more about what Jokic wants in the end.
Well, that you're also thinking about Jokic's timeline, right? Like, why would you waste
Entire
so
year?
this year could be a
Yeah.
wash unless Jokic really is.
I mean, he'll get if he gets his MVP season. I don't know if
you
you call.
You got to think they're not going to get better next year. You're basically just running it back, thinking, well, next year's going to be a wash.
So
what do you do?
All right, I'll bite
in.
it. I'll bite.
2 years of Jokic.
So I'll bite into this. Who is trading for Jamal Murray?
It's a great question.
Oh, a lot of teams.
I just had this idea, but I think there's a lot that would do
But
it.
like, what are you getting back? We saw it what Jamal was in the bubble. Like we saw this amazing scorer. He's an amazing player. Teammate. The team loves him. They all love each other. Him and Jokic have a bond. Is like what I'm trying to get at. I think those two. I think they love each other so much that if you broke that up, you were essentially walking Jokic out the door. Because with Jokic's contract, there's only like 3 more seasons.
They love each other. Should marry.
They should. It's legal in the U.S., Dave.
Is this fleeceable? Because there's a team I'm looking at right now that could be fleeceable.
All right, we'll send Devin Booker to Denver. We'll give you. What is it? What is it? Let's hear it.
Well, I was thinking the possibility of Sacramento getting fleeced. I think you could do something to think like, all right, we believe in Fox. Fox is our guy. That's it. He's our dude.
Mm-hmm.
We'll give you. We don't have a timeline for Fox. He's just our guy for the foreseeable future until we get a number 2 that we lock down, and then we go all in. Everything else, you get vets after that, but you need a second dude. And you're like, I want my backcourt to be Fox and Jamal Murray, and we're willing to have this combo. We're gonna build the rest of the roster.
No, I'm out.
Around 2023 starting season, where Jamal Murray and Fox are 1 and 2.
I love it.
And you trade Buddy Hield, who is super streaky right now.
I'm ending the podcast right now.
And Halliburton. You get Halliburton to be to be basically the starting. Well, it doesn't even matter who starts. You get Hield to start for the Nuggets instead of, and then you just have Jokic as the 0.5. I think I kind of love this idea, and I just never thought about it before. All in. How cool would it be to have Fox and Jamal Murray as the
You ain't
backup?
winning. You ain't winning
Jack
anything.
up
You
shot
ain't
like
winning anything.
well, not with just the two of them, but you'd have to at that
Yeah.
point you'd have your entire next year as the Kings going into 2022.
No, I'm not. I don't.
We're getting every.
I don't care
single
about the
net we
Kings.
can
I don't
on
care about the
long-term
Kings at all.
contracts.
I don't care
I
about the.
love it.
I'm thinking of the. I'm thinking for the
love it.
Nuggets. It doesn't make sense for the Nuggets.
Yeah,
So I am
That
a
doesn't.
Jamal
Jamal's.
Murray hater, I would say. I think that his stats are very overhyped and like overfilled because of Jokic and because of the situation that he's in. I think that deep down he is a gunner, and he's not a good point guard. He's a good scorer. So why not you go and you switch him out for another gunner in Buddy Hield? And of course, Jamal Murray is better than Buddy Hield. But if you're getting two players that equal up to Jamal Murray, or even a little bit better, well, I love it. Love it.
Your option though, before you go into this, Nick, is you can't. You have to be the owner of the Nuggets. You have to be the GM, and you have to think we can't waste the 2022 season, which would be doing nothing.
Okay.
Can't do nothing. So how do you How do you win the finals with Jamal Murray burning 40 mil?
Okay, so here's my next segue. How the hell do you win the finals with Halliburton and Buddy Hield? I'm not Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield is coming nowhere near my team. Nowhere. He's a cancer. He's not coming on my bench. I don't care.
You would not. You win it with Jokic, because at the end of the day, it's Jokic's team, and it's not Jamal Murray's team.
It was, but we needed Jamal Murray in the playoff game against the entire playoff series against the Jazz. We needed Jamal Murray. Buddy Hield.
Put that money to work. Right now, it's not.
We'll get. It is. I know it sucks, but it's also the same time frame where it's like, I don't think those two players, like, I can take a year off without Jamal. Say we suck for a year. It does suck. I still don't think I don't think getting Halliburton and Buddy freaking Hield is gonna, like, what he's gonna be next year. He'll be 30, 31. What is Buddy Hield right now? He's 28, I think. He's 30.
I actually don't know.
No, I'm out. No. You gotta give me. I gotta give someone better for Jamal Murray. Locked up. He's locked up on a contract.
What's the difference between Jamal Murray and Buddy Hield?
Everything. Jamal Murray's a way better player than Buddy Hield.
But then
No, I agree with that. I'm not saying that. I 100% agree. But they don't play. I think Buddy Hield is equal or even a little bit better than on defense. Jamal Murray is bad defender. They both don't really pass the ball that much, and they're both gunners.
Jamal Murray is a good ball handler. He's a good playmaker.
Yeah. I mean, Jokic passing you the ball and setting you up for another pass. I would love to know the hockey assists that Jokic gets, where he pops it to Murray, and then Murray just pops it to another guy, and then it's in.
Well, Jamal Murray's not, like, he's a good shot creator. Buddy Hield's not. Buddy Hield's a catch and shoot guy. Like, yeah, but I'm paying Buddy Hield. What was he getting paid? $25 million for
Jamal Murray $40 million to do nothing.
Well, I'm at least that I'll get the money back because I'll get insurance. I mean, I know it's a loss.
You're wasted though, so.
But I'll get a disability player. Like, if I'm just saying, like, I'm gonna trade this guy who is, how old is he? 23. Jamal Murray. He's 22, 23. I don't care. I'm not trading him for a 28-year-old. I like Halliburton. I do like Halliburton. Well, what's the difference of sucking for a year or getting a 14th pick? And the Nuggets are awesome at drafting. Getting a guy who I'm just gonna get on a rookie deal, and then I'm gonna have Jamal Murray the next year. He will be back.
What if though? And you know how you say, oh, well, they needed Jamal Murray scoring for that Jazz series? Michael Porter Jr., every single thing that I ever hear about Michael Porter Jr. is just his potential and how he just keeps on going better, getting better and better.
He is.
And what if that step is that? Is it Jokic and Michael Porter Jr. then?
I don't trust him enough. I trust him as like the third option.
I don't trust Murray as the second option.
Do you also? But you also don't believe in the Nuggets. They got to the conference finals last year. The two of them.
I don't, and I think if
if you would have
switched out
Jeremy Grant.
I think if you would have switched out Murray for Buddy Hield and Halliburton, like
there's no way. There's no way. They don't make it through that Clippers series. No freaking way. Buddy Hield does not have that next step. He doesn't have the star step. Buddy Hield's a good shooting. Lucas literally wouldn't trade Tim Hardaway Jr. for Buddy Hield.
Yeah, but he loves
Tim Hardaway Jr. is better than Buddy though.
So why wouldn't I just trade for Tim Hardaway Jr.?
Because you're not getting him straight up. You're also getting Halliburton, who looks like he's gonna.
All right, give me Jalen Brunson and Tim Hardaway Jr. I'll take him.
No, that's not the same.
No, that's a trade.
I'm close to the same.
Halliburton is so much like I hate the word potential, but he actually is legit.
Now, but my only worry with Halliburton, he looks good as the third guard. We've seen him recently. He's not lighting up the box score anymore. When he's the third guard and he's fitting, he's perfect. That's my only thing is like I don't think he's like he doesn't have the potential to be what Jamal Murray is. And Jamal Murray has shown that. I do need him to win the finals. I need him to beat LeBron and AD. I need him to beat the Clippers.
The opposite spectrum of this is trying to convince the Wizards to blow up and then still try to push the Bradley Beal trade, which feels like it's never going to happen.
I think he's yeah. I mean
that'd be fun. I would love like Bradley Beal and the Nuggets. They would give up like 150 points a night, but they would score some serious baskets.
It would be perfect. Perfect match. I hate the Knicks. They're gonna win this, aren't they?
Yeah, they're tied right now. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not in for that. I gotta have something juicier than that. Because like I agree with what you guys are saying, but I don't see Buddy Hield and Halliburton for 1 year being the difference, or even in 2 years being the difference that gets me to a championship.
It may not even be that.
But we're trying to get to a championship, right? Like that's my only
prerequisite that I'm having is you're thinking there's a giant question mark with Drew Holiday. Like it may not even just be this year and next year. Like it could be an ongoing problem forever.
You mean
Jamal Murray may be shot.
You somehow snuck Drew Holiday.
Yeah. What are you talking about, Drew Holiday?
Yeah, I was so confused. Yeah.
So was I. I'm like, how we get to Drew Holiday all of a sudden?
So Jamal Murray, like he could be shot. Like it may not reach whatever potential he had, or that awkward left-footed, mid-range shot that he had in the playoffs that he killed with. Like that could not be a thing anymore.
I totally understand that. I'm just gonna take his basketball IQ, he can take easier shots. He likes to take hard shots for some reason. He takes the hardest shots in probably the league just because, I don't know, he's dumb.
I think it's hard, and I think it's almost impossible for
you're never gonna
those to actually win are so short. And if you have an MVP on your team instantly, you gotta just keep going all in every single time. And I think if you sacrifice 2 years of Jokic, 2 shots with Jokic, MVP Jokic, and then this asset isn't something that's going to instantly appreciate. Like that third year, Murray comes back, he still may not be Murray. Like he may not be that $40 million guy anymore. It may take him until he's like 28 to figure this out again, and then by then it may be way too late. It's just.
I guess I'm just doing the same thing as next year I'm gonna have to compete against the Kyrie, Harden, Durant team for a full season. Say for somehow it's just I don't see that team being so much better that 1 year off. Say we say we somehow win the lottery, or say we somehow get a top 4 pick. Like, I know it's that sucks, but is a top 4 pick or a lottery pick with the Nuggets better than Halliburton, Buddy Hield, a lottery pick, and Jamal Murray? I mean, most ACL injuries now, they're like barely anything. 90% of the time.
Most, but
Yeah.
you never know.
I mean, look at Durant's back from his Achilles, but they're literally milking him through everything right now.
I mean, yeah, he barely plays.
But even when he plays, he's fine.
Well, I mean, yeah, he's amazing when he plays. But I'm just saying, like, he doesn't. It seems as if he just does not play.
But they don't need him to play right now. That's their only thing right now. It's not a sweet enough pot for me.
Playoffs.
I was gonna say, on the topic of injuries, Capella is now being taken off the court. He fell on his back. A lot of these, though, this is like the thing.
They're fluke.
So many of these are flukes. Like LeBron, he stepped on someone's foot. Capella just stepped on D Rose's foot, fell backwards, and hit his lower back.
Yeah.
Like Trae Young again stepped on someone's foot and went down with a high ankle. Like,
that's just a basketball injury. Like, that's not a condensed like schedule kind of thing. I would say more like Jamal Murray's. I would say is more condensed because so much pressure is
so hard
being put on that knee like every single day, and it's not enough rest kind of thing. And like, but I mean,
yeah, I agree with that.
I think Doncic really at the beginning of the year, I think he told a little bit too much, like inadvertently, about what the off-season prep that NBA players did or the lack thereof. Like, he was super open about. He was like, I didn't think there was going to be an NBA, so I didn't train. Like, how many NBA players had the exact same mindset of like, I didn't think like
I got you.
Season.
How many NBA players were Twitch streamers this break COVID? All of them. Every single Josh Hart, Booker, Ayton was streaming, Towns streams, Leonard, who used to be an NBA player, streamed. Like,
I honestly, I don't want to sound like an old man who's yelling at professional athletes, but it definitely feels like a lot of the NBA players that are complaining about the schedule, there are scheduling conflicts that should be addressed, and they aren't great, but they are professional athletes, and
you're getting paid millions.
They didn't come into the season prepared for this, like for
and
any
the
of
funny
it.
Thing, what I was gonna say was the funny thing is I feel like a player who like has the right to complain would be somebody like LeBron, and he hasn't, and it's like, which is very surprising. And he's hurt too, and like we just said, like it was a basketball injury, but they can spin it 10,000 different ways where they can blame it on the scheduling and blame it on having to play back-to-backs and all this other stuff. And I mean, like the fact that he hasn't come out and said anything kind of shows like maybe it wasn't that big of a deal. You have the person who played the very last game of the season, like not come out and say anything.
Thank you for bringing up LeBron, Dave. Just always nice to hear you say his name. I mean, the big thing is we thought LeBron was going to take the first month of the season off. Like, he was every indicator that, and it turned out it was AD who wasn't ready, and LeBron's always ready. I think that's the thing. LeBron's always ready. Bradley Beal has an actual gym in his house. Most of these guys are like, I don't need weights. Why do I need weights? I go to the arena. I don't do anything else. Or they're living in apartments because they live in LA in the summer. Like, it's so much of their life has been in one location. I don't know. It sucks that money drives everything so much. Well, like, we wouldn't have been happy with a 50-game season.
No.
So many teams would have been frauds. Or like the Heat wouldn't have made it, and the Heat are now like teetering into it. That's like they were so ravaged with COVID and just continuous injuries. Like, that was the team we didn't even talk about. Now they got Tyler Hero issues, but it's like I want the best teams to get there, and that's why we have these longer seasons. The same thing with like hockey and baseball. Like, the longer seasons, good teams get there. Football somehow pulls off. Well, football's 17 now. You guys are getting up there. By the time we die, football will be at like 28 games.
It's gonna be year round.
It's gonna be year round. I wouldn't even doubt it. Next year, NFL's like, wait, if we never give them days off, we can make billions upon trillions? Holy.
That medical car will be having to fuel up after every
They'll just have
20 minutes.
They'll have 800 players on the roster, and their salary cap will still be below the NBA somehow. You guys got me worked up with that Jamal Murray trade. I'm just gonna say it. I have had 3 Red Bulls and a coffee today. That's why I texted you guys. I had to work out because I was like amped in the car driving in a blizzard. I was just like, let's go.
It's a pretty good segue into the play-in tournaments.
Yes, thank you. I forgot what our third topic was. So, play-in tournament. Mark Cuban's upset. I wonder why Mark Cuban's upset. Can you guys understand why Mark Cuban might be upset? The fact that his team, who is not very good, is in the play-in tournament range, and he's worried. He's like, why would we play a full season and there's a chance that we lose 2 games and we're out? Here's an idea, Mark Cuban. Don't effing lose. Like, if your team is good, win the games. It's 1-2 games. Go with what you're going to say, Dave. I got to crack a beer.
Oh, well, I mean, I love it, especially for the Mavericks, because all of a sudden they've slid to the 7th seed. Something crazy happens. They have to play like the Warriors say in the play-in tournament. Steph goes nuclear. They're out of the playoffs. They're in the lottery. They get like a top 5 pick in the lottery. Guess who that goes to? The New York Knicks.
Yep. Forgot about that angle, but I'm glad you brought it up. I mean, if Steph goes MVP Steph like he did tonight, Mavericks are winning by 40. I understand why people are upset, and actually Lucas and I were talking about this because in the bubble there was the 4-game buffer that was like, all right, if you're 4 games above this, well, you don't have to worry about that play-in game. It'll just be 8, whatever, 9 and 8. But they got rid of that rule. So it still has to be the 9 and 10 play, and then was it 7 and 8 have to play each other? It's something weird like that, right?
I don't think so.
Played 10,
and then I thought 8 plays 9.
No, I think it's 7 plays 8, and then 8 has to play the winner of 9 and 10. But if 9 wins, they have to win 2 games. I'm pretty sure because we checked this, and I thought it was the 7-10, 8-9, but it's weird. Someone can correct me on that.
I'm gonna pull it up.
All right.
I'm also trying to pull it up.
But yeah, I think it's something weird. I don't think it's as straightforward. I don't think it's 7-10. I think that's why some people are off about this. I could be completely wrong.
I thought it was the 7th. I thought the 10th seed had to win both games against the 7th seed.
Only one team from 9 and 10 can get in. I think it's that. But they have the chance because 10 has to beat 9 and 8 has to lose. So the 8th seed could actually move up to the 7th seed. And then whoever's the 7th seed has to play the 9th seed. But I think they're a game up. It's like the best of 3 with winner's bracket. Double elimination. All right.
So game number 1, the number 7 seed team in the standings will host the number 8 team, with the winner earning the number 7 seed in the playoffs. The losing team gets another chance in game 3. Game number 2, the number 9 team will host the number 10 team, with the winner moving on to game 3. The loser is eliminated and enters the NBA draft. The loser of the number 7 versus number 8 matchup will host the winner of the number 9 versus 10, with the victor grabbing the number 8 seed in the postseason.
Okay.
So, yeah, you were right, Nick.
I love when you say that. So,
7 and 8 play. Yep.
It is weird because I did think all the way up to like 35 games into the season, and then one day, I forget which one of you, I was like, we were talking about it, and I was like, looked at it, and I was like, this is not what I thought it was going to be.
I guess, I don't understand. I get the complaint.
I think it's the extra.
I think it just goes with that thing. Like, I don't know why there is. So, but that's why Cuban shouldn't be ticked off right now, because even if there was the 4-game buffer, the Spurs and Warriors would qualify. The Warriors are only one, even with the terrible loss today. The Warriors are 1 game back, really,
Mhm.
1 win back of Dallas. Spurs are 2, but like
But
that's
no,
enough wiggle room to have to do a play in. Like
yeah,
it's not
it's
like if it was a game difference from 8 and 9, no, you shouldn't do a play in.
yeah.
Or like the 4 game was pretty good. Um, I would be a little annoyed if I was like Charlotte for the first time, I guess, or
The
like
East,
the
the
East
East
may have
is
some
Mhm.
issues. Um,
well, yeah, they suck. Not
like
including your team, Dave. Your team's actually good. I like them.
Yeah,
like
we
the
are.
Fucking
the
like them.
Wizards are like teetering right now. Like they're 3 game. They're 3.5 games back of the 8th seed. So like they're on the cusp of not making it. That's where I'd be a little annoyed. But other than that, like the how it's set up right now, everyone's within that four game wiggle room by default. So
Yeah,
Mhm.
I don't really understand the pain point
it's
there.
it's
So,
okay.
no, I was gonna say, like, as a fan, what do you guys think? Because I love it because it kind of brings like a little March Madness kind of feel to it,
Yeah,
and most of the time, the first round is most of the time pretty boring. I would say, other than the 4-5 matchup, it most of the time is just very chalk. The last time like it was crazy was the Mavs losing to the Warriors, but we were like 10 when that happened.
right. No, I
I
love it. This is like the coolest addition that they could have ever had. I mean, I remember when they had the idea for like a mid-season tournament.
Hmm.
That gave me nightmares. This is
I
like
just
a significantly better idea.
what do you
Like,
guys? This is just off the top of my head for that midseason tournament that I knew was gonna come up. What if it was just the one seed of each division halfway through the season? They played like a little mini tournament, and the winner got like some sort of prize pool of players got like a couple hundred grand.
see, I think
I
that's the
mean,
problem. I don't know if like
I don't really
players right now
care.
don't even care.
But
You know,
there
like I
is
don't.
but we're thinking of the top echelon players. Like LeBron might not care for 200 grand, but if there was like a little mini trophy in the middle of the season, that's like another little like LeBron can put it on his long term life shelf.
Right.
I mean,
It,
like
it
as
could
a
be,
fan though, like I wouldn't really. I mean,
but
it
it
would
would
be
be.
like it would kind of like what it would kind of make me feel like would be like when they do like the TNT matchups where it's like the number 2 versus the number 1 in the West kind of thing. Like if the Suns were and Jazz were to play like on Wednesday night or for like on TNT, that's kind of like what it feels like. I
I
mean,
guess
like
I
yeah,
was
it's
just trying to
cool,
think of
but
a reason divisions could be fun because divisions are
divisions
not
don't matter anymore.
they don't
Honestly,
matter.
you would have to find an incentive that the players care about. Like,
I still think
if
like a couple hundred grand
I
maybe.
don't know if they even I don't know if they would be for like
Ah,
because we tune in for
I think we
the
sometimes
top guys.
underestimate. Yeah.
Like, well, like LeBron isn't gonna go. He's not gonna go percent for 100 grand or like a couple grand or
Well, oh, I said a couple hundred grand, like
right.
500,000,
Yeah, but you
700.
can like most
I
players
don't
can
know.
make that in like one ad though.
But most play
And so,
that's only 1% of all NBA players, probably.
I mean, yeah, but I mean, there's like
That's a
the
bad
the
number. That's only I'd say 10% of NBA players can do ads.
but I mean like the number 10 player on the bench, like does he really like so? Oh, he'll be excited about it, but I mean, he's like excited just to be in the NBA.
I mean, it's just or they make it more money. I don't know. They give them
I
a
mean,
cool belt. They're
Like,
also these guys are also streaming on Twitch and getting subs. Like they love fucking money.
oh, hurts my heart.
They are just sitting there and like Devin Booker doesn't even read his subs, and he just gets like sub 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 sub. Oh, I'm signed with FaZe. Here's $1 million.
I
Like
don't know. I think
The
it's
like,
hard because also the
I
league
I
is trending towards playing less games.
mm-hmm.
So like, there's got.
yeah.
I get what you're saying. Like, I'd be totally down for like.
I
I don't know. I
guess
feel like soccer has so many different tournaments and people care about it.
It's funny that
And
you
I
say
think that's
soccer and
pretty
stuff
cool.
because I was actually going to bring that up with like even though soccer confuses the living hell out of me and I hardly ever watch it,
yeah.
the coolest thing about soccer is regulation. where like you can be a team can be regulated if they're not good enough, and like every game matters, and like those weird tournaments that they have really matter.
That's why the Super League got formed, because they hated regulation.
No, that
They
was quickly disbanded.
yeah, they got shafted. I mean,
Kind of cool. Regulation. Split the league in half.
it's cool.
15.
Then wasn't
Yeah,
regulation
it's-
talked about during our like 4-hour Discord fight that we had between Nick and I?
Yeah, it's cool, but it couldn't work in the NBA because the NBA is a super league. Is the
Right.
problem? Is they make all their money on TV deals, they make all their money on this, they make all their money on that. Like a team like Charlotte or Memphis, or I mean OKC, I guess, because they're draft gods, could make it. But you wouldn't want the #1 draft pick going into regulation zone. So the teams in regulation can never come up. It'd be so hard for the NBA because the NBA is not super popular.
I mean, the NBA itself basically has a regulation league. Orlando.
If you're Orlando, the old Sacramento, the old Phoenix, the Lakers for a little bit.
The Knicks for many years.
You back. All of our teams are back. The Grizzlies are up 9, boys.
Yeah, thank God.
I think this one might be a Dave, did you get my tweet?
Player back?
Did you like my tweet?
Oh, I saw it. I didn't like it. It
You
hurt my
don't-
heart.
You know what? I just want people to know, in the NBA Nightcap, like, listeners, I tweet at Dave and he never, ever responds to me.
And I'm never on Twitter.
That was
Jackson hit his first shot.
a-
1 minute.
It was a stupid 3. It hit the back of the rim, hit the top of the backboard, bounced again, and then dropped in.
He's really good. I don't know what to tell you.
Hey, Dave, did you see the Sixers? So the Sixers are playing the Suns tonight. 3-point game. Chris Paul misses the last free throw on purpose. 0.8 seconds. Embiid gets the ball, throws it cross court, hits the backboard, hits the front of the rim, hits the back of the rim, comes out. He almost threw an entire full court shot.
That would have been sick. I did not see that.
I wanted it.
Disaster.
Now, it would have been so funny. You would have lost anyways.
Yeah.
You're doing like, you went from winning 2. All right, let's talk about that a little bit. We got back into gambling. Mostly Lucas and I, because we're just pure, utter degenerates. Investing got boring. Dave's been doing his picks. He's actually hitting good numbers. Lucas and I are going full degen. Just parlays.
So many parlays.
If Lucas is more in the parlays, I'm doing the single games. I like the single games. I take one team. I go, they're gonna win tonight.
61%, guys. If you just keep following me, I do one game. That's it. No
I
parlays.
like that. I like that. Until I hit one bet, and then I'm like, I'm a god. Lucas has been. What got you back in the gambling mentality? We took off. We were gonna be a gambling podcast. This year is just crazy. It's ravage.
I think you're right. I think it was a little bit of staleness in the stock market because I refused to buy a dog coin, and
$100 I made.
I've never liked GameStop, so I
Still 2 stockholder.
everything kills me about those two. And then my option trading really dwindled, so it was time to rehatch an old love.
An old love, an old flame.
It really started off hot. She really teased me with a great little parlay. Got me up to that 185 mark.
Yeah, I know.
$150.
You did back-to-back parlays too, right? Did you do the second parlay last night?
Yeah, it was the Martingale. I did the Martingale.
You hit the money, and you did like the spreads on the first one, and then money lines on the second one. Like you went full. Like you do something with 10 o'clock is like, I may have been drinking, I may have been recreationally other things, and
I was staring at 1:30 in the morning. I was staring at European sports. The Asian.
Oh no.
I had $1.24 in my account today, and I just went straight to Russian table tennis, and I said, nah, I gotta stop.
Oh my god. Come on, Russian table tennis is like it's like your crack.
This is actually the beauty of today. Sorry to interrupt that real quick, but if the Grizzlies win, I'll bet like $200 to win $20.
The best is when you do like $400 in a day, and you just be up like $1. You're just like, I don't know what happened. I remember one day
Even as positive.
I was in work and I lost $900 in a 2-hour span on just
Let me
fucking
guess.
live betting. Go ahead. You know what I did.
Miami Heat first half.
No,
You
I
gained
was
and lost a fortune.
I was quarter betting.
That's
Like
annoying.
that's my classic live betting quarters. It's just it does feel good. I think so. What I wanted to lead into the segue is the Phoenix Suns.
Yes.
They signed, was it DraftKings or yeah, it's DraftKings, right? FanDuel,
It was
I don't know.
the exclusive deal, but it was only the one. You only signed because they're gonna have a sports book in your arena, and it
FanDuel.
is FanDuel. Okay, so it is the future. It is happening within the next couple years. New York will have it with its legalized sports betting. Everyone is gonna start having these gambling centers in sports. We obviously love it. I'm not even gonna ask us that question. Gambling is gonna take sports to the next level because I think the average fan is struggling to stay through a game, and I think the NBA is the craziest with like football. I look at like the Steelers this year. They play someone like the Bengals. I'm like, the Steelers could win by like a lot. And then you look at the money line. It's like minus what, 600, minus 1,000. You're like, I gotta go spread now. That's why people like football spreads, because there's no money in the money lines. The NBA is different. Well, tonight the Grizzlies were -2, -1, -1 this morning.
-3.5.
I got them at -3. They're up 14 right now. Like, to listeners out there, you got to find the value. Don't be like us who are just trying to find games and players just every single minute. You got to find the value. Yesterday was the Knicks. The last 10 days have been the Knicks.
Knicks are right
The
now.
Knicks are stupid. Before that, it was the Spurs. You just have to look at. There's always one, especially this time of year.
I mean, in my folders on Safari, I have an entire thing.
We don't want to know.
For sports.
We don't want to know your
Yeah.
folders, Dave. You don't
Team
need to know
rankings
those.
against the spread is the most amazing website known to mankind. Just teamrankings.com. So,
Man, I
you can
have.
just-
It
if you would
goes.
have bet,
Go.
I was gonna say if you would have bet on just the Knicks and the Grizzlies this year, that's it. I'm gonna bet every single game the Knicks or the Grizzlies to cover the spread. You would be, math is hard, 83 and 41 right now. You
That
just have to
is.
find those teams.
First of all, Lucas, the Knicks are winning in overtime.
Yeah, they are.
I hate
like-
you both for telling me to take the Warriors. I said
was
Wizards.
mostly
I said Wizards. They were better odds.
I think I was driving and I said the Wizards still.
Warriors.
I said that Steph was gonna drop 80 on them.
Hey,
It's my
hey,
fault.
Lucas. 55 points. 3 minutes left in the first.
What are you talking about?
The Wolves
you talking
Kings
about?
game.
Well, that's already blown.
They're gonna have like 65 points by the end of the first quarter.
Dude, neither of those teams can play any freaking defense. This
I love
is
it.
nuts. That's so many points.
I love it. So I don't know. I found my love back gambling. I don't know if it's a love or an addiction. Whatever. Get
It's an
help.
addiction.
Get help if you need help.
A little bit of column A, a little.
Little column A, little column B. The NBA is getting so close to the playoffs. Just touch it. The Lakers are somehow not the 15th team in the league. 5th seed. The Lakers would have to play the Nuggets in the first round.
How much does that terrify you?
I'd never want to play the Nuggets. I'd rather play Phoenix, Clippers, Jazz, Portland, Dallas, Grizzlies, Spurs, Warriors, any of them over the Nuggets. You know how much Jokic terrifies me?
Yeah.
I'll go into why we didn't have a podcast last week. It was Masters weekend, and we were drinking, hanging out, end of the night. We're watching, I don't even know, Nuggets something. And I just kept yelling at Lucas that Jokic was the best player in the NBA. I was like, there's nothing more. There's nothing more to this.
That's a lot of money.
You want to talk about MVP really quick? Since both of our, and like, who did you have, Lucas? You had Dame with me, right?
Yeah, you made me.
Waste money.
They're the 6th seed.
They're out. They're out.
Dame's not out.
Dame's out.
3 games. They won 3 games in a row. They're the 4th seed.
What?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about? They're 5 games behind Denver.
Okay, maybe I misread, but yes.
They're out. He's out.
No,
and Dame's out. He's not even playing that well recently.
He was playing really fucking good though.
he had his like Lucas
insanely good.
Lucas's little dream of Devin Booker being the MVP.
All I got was great odds. I'm still gonna win the Monty thing.
Dumb.
Winning,
I do think it has to be Monty or Snyder.
No, I think I saw it before. Like people, I think I saw some people on Twitter maybe, or it was Reddit posting about it. Like Snyder's had really high voting years the past like 3 seasons. It was like 3rd or 2nd place. Like his time is gone. I think like he's at that point where he's established. Like it's kind of like it's an
Pop got it
So
though.
while going up, you're constantly getting a ton of votes, and then it kind of teeters off at some point, right? Like you never actually have to achieve that final thing. You just have to keep living up to the hype. And I don't think Snyder, like, has Snyder really brought like the Jazz from here to like here, you know, from like super high, or is it like, are the Jazz just the healthiest team in the league the entire season? They're the most veteran team together. Like Snyder hasn't done enough like Monty.
And every single year they're good. Yep. It's not the Suns who were battling, like had to go undefeated in the bubble and then still miss out in the playoffs. So then the next year being the number 2 seed in the West.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same, like Pop.
6th seed to the 1st seed.
Pop, what I was going to say with Pop, though, was like, he won it, but he had to win like 60, like, what was it? 62, 66, or 64 games? Or something like that. He had to, like, it had to be like, the Spurs are the best team, and it's not even close. The Jazz are a very good team, but they're not the best team, and it's not even close.
It's the Coach of the Year award is like the biggest swings. Like that's normally what it is. And that's why like it's almost like the LeBron effect too with the MVP. Like LeBron has an argument for the entirety of the 2010s that he has a clear-cut argument for MVP. He didn't win it because of voter fatigue and he set the bar, right? And I think that's the same thing with Pop. Like Pop at some point set the bar on how to be Coach of the Year. And I think like Snyder is a really good coach, but I don't think Snyder hasn't done that huge trajectory swing thing. Like in an MVP season, somebody goes off crazy and all you say is like, oh, well, he matched LeBron. Like, I feel like that's kind of like how it used to be with like Coach of the Year and Pop. It was like, oh, well, Brad Stevens is pulling a Pop this year. He's Coach of the Year.
Well, it's funny because you say that Brad Stevens, because he's never won it. Right. And how many times has he had amazing teams? But he's never gone. Shut up. He's never gone from like a middling team to the next year a great like number 1 team. It's just individual growth over every single year.
So that's a great example. I think like Brad Stevens next year, like if the Celtics turned it around next season and went from wherever they are right now, like 5th or 6th, to like 2nd or 1st, you'd think like, wow, Brad Stevens just turned around Boston.
Mm-hmm.
right? What, Mister? I haven't talked in a while. All I do
Yeah.
is click,
Okay.
click.
If
You get your little cider, little
if
monkeys
if
find you stuff.
if no. I just went and looked at the Utah Jazz. I think they have 13 games left in the season. They go 8-5. They finish 52-20 in a shortened condensed season.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It's gonna be hard. It is gonna be hard because I don't think Monty. I don't think Monty is getting the reason why the Suns are 42-16. Monty's not getting that. It's Chris Paul.
Yeah, but Chris Paul's not winning an award. So
But you know,
like,
but that's
narratives like this. You give awards out. To
yeah. But
narratives.
Chris Paul is gonna take away from Monty. That's my only thought process there.
No, Chris Paul adds
Yes.
to Monty because it's because the team has to achieve something. Monty isn't on the court, right? So the players have to perform.
Exactly. Chris
Right,
Paul
so-
is on the court. Chris Paul's MVP.
Yeah, but Chris Paul isn't getting votes to win the award to pull away from Monty, right? So like
Well,
the Jazz. So with Snyder, the Jazz will be the #1 seed. Like that's,
you know,
that's
Quinn
now-
Snyder's not on the
that's-
court, so he
that's
is
a-
winning more
but that's a
games than you're.
statement.
Yeah.
No, what I'm saying is like you
I'm
have
just-
statement achievements, like, and that's how the NBA like media works. Is everyone has to win their thing every single year. You can't give out too many things. Like, and I was honestly really surprised when like Giannis won Depoy and MVP. Like that seems like a
You
bit of
mean
a
it-
shocker when that happened. It was super unique. But like,
Is that why?
you
Is that
can
why
have,
they're
like,
gonna give it to Gobert? You think they're just
honestly,
gonna?
like I
They
don't
had
know,
to give it-
could be
I do agree with what you're
try to
saying.
pay you back. That's what I'm saying is like I think what they want to do, and I'll always be shocked if they hand out multiple awards to one team, is like because everyone is kind of buddy and everybody needs like love spread around just to make it seem like the rest of the league is on par with each other. Um,
And
Jazz being #1 is a statement win for Snyder, for everyone on the team, because no one's getting an MVP vote. Gobert may get Depoy votes, but like Snyder's not winning coach.
They
Like,
might.
I just
They might honestly win 11 of their next games.
They could.
so
Wolves,
That was the-
Wolves, Kings, Suns, Raptors, Spurs,
Oh, yeah,
Denver,
they're not beating
Houston, Golden State,
They're not beating the Suns. They're
Portland,
beating the Suns.
Oklahoma City, and Kings. I'm counting the Kings as a loss in Denver. Go ahead, Dave.
So that was my whole argument with Steve Kerr winning or Coach of the Year when Steph won MVP, because it's like, how can you be the Coach of the Year if you have the MVP on your team?
Because you unlock the MVP.
Yeah, but you have the MVP though. Like,
Because you created a system for the MVP. Like
I
I
could have coached the Warriors, and the Steph that year could have won MVP.
we
I
could
mean-
but I think what it was the Mark Jackson saga right before where they won a bunch of games, but Curry wasn't Curry yet. Like he was
Well,
good.
see, so like that's the reason why I think Monty is the clear-cut winner for that, because he took over the team and they're the second seed.
They wait.
So
he
it's-
went, yeah, he took over the team.
Mm-hmm.
They're riddled with injuries, and Aiton's 25 game suspension. They
Drug
still
use.
were like a fringe playoff team. They were 4 games below 500, went 8-0 in the bubble, and then now it's like the ultimate comeback. Like you
Mhm.
can't beat the narrative Monty has. No coach can beat Monty's narrative.
Quinn Snyder's narrative is literally, so last year we were a very good team. The year before that we were a very good team. This year
We're the
number
best.
1 seed.
We're the best team.
But it's not the jump though. The jump is what matters. It's the little growth. They don't know, like, voter cares about that, because it's like you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, I guess. Because like players, coaches, everybody has the expectation that every single year you're going to get better, and it's the surprises of you go from being the 9th seed, going undefeated in the bubble, missing the playoffs, and then you jump to the number 2 seed. It's like, look what Monty did in this year. That's what matters.
Also, I don't think that the league and like media people give the Jazz respect as the best team in the league.
Yeah.
So, like
Mhm.
Well, I
them
mean,
getting the #1 seed is almost like it's
they're
almost
the
like a
Hawks.
personal achievement for them. Yeah, because they're gonna constantly be like, well, a healthy LeBron and AD, the Lakers are better. They're gonna say like a healthy Clippers team, the Clippers are better, and then they'll list off the
Yeah, I
top
mean,
3 teams in the East and be like they're all better than the Jazz, and so no one's gonna be like, well, Snyder, you led the best team in the league. It's like, well, every single person that gets a vote on ESPN is gonna be like, well, he didn't because they're not. So it's like I think Snyder, if he wins, like I'll be happy for him, but it would be a little bit of a shocker.
I think if the Jazz go like 11-2 in their next games, if they finish like 55 wins, if they finish for like 52 to 55 wins, I don't think there's a way he doesn't get it. Just because I think it's gonna be so much larger than what
Do you
like.
think they would give Gobert the award and Snyder the award?
Yes,
See, I think doubling up awards is just
but I think if you're like, especially in this year, if you win like 52 to 55 games, and the next closest team,
50 plus is just a great achievement.
yeah, and there's six. They have to go 500, below 500 to get to 50 wins. I think that's the big thing, and they're 9-point differential. Like they're slaughtering teams.
I think that if you can double up on awards for Coach of the Year if the players never won it before. So say if like for example Gobert has never won Defensive Player of the Year. Quinn Snyder has like this amazing record. The Jazz are killing teams. They have a great defense. Gobert is more unlocked, more of a defensive presence, and he wins Defensive Player of the Year. I feel like you can double up on the awards where it's like Quinn Snyder and him like went over expectations this year. But the fact that Gobert is pretty much the like every single year at the beginning of the year we look at the odds and Gobert is one of the favorites. So it's like what does Quinn Snyder do for that? Because every single year he's one of the favorites.
Yeah.
It has to be a top 3 team or a top 2 team. That's the only way they're winning Coach of the Year. Just going
Suns are number 2.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But the problem is you guys are one game. I guess 2 games back. God, you guys need to start playing some games. Like seriously. That might be scary though. You have a hard stretch, don't you?
Well, we did, but we beat the freaking we beat the 2 hardest teams I was worried about. We beat the Bucks and we beat Philly, and then we play
Boston,
back-to-back.
Brooklyn.
We have to go to Boston.
Dave, the disrespect coming out of this man right now.
Oh wait, did you just say the easy stretch to the Knicks? Did you just say easy stretch to the Knicks?
No.
The disrespect is 3 games away. He has to play the Knicks. They're gonna crush him.
It's no. I said the hard stretch was we had to go Milwaukee, Philly, and Boston, and then Brooklyn. That's
and then New York. That's part of the hard stretch.
Honestly, New York is probably going to be.
They terrify me.
We probably will lose against the Knicks just because, like,
it's a scheduled loss, Dave. That's what he's gonna say.
They had to travel all the way to New York. They're from Phoenix.
It's the end of the road trip now. I think after the Knicks we get to go home. I don't know. Yeah, it's the end of the road trip. Probably the only healthy team to play out of that group, which is
probably
actually the Bucks were healthy until overtime, where Giannis got a cramp. But some dicey.
He's a big boy. He'll be fine.
Dude, Coach of the Year is wild.
See, Thibs isn't like Thibs. Even though it's New York and everything gets boosted for New York, he doesn't have enough wins.
Also,
but I feel like
he'll like Thibs.
Mm-hmm. But I feel like he'll get votes though, just because it's New York City.
Yeah, dude, I mean, there's gonna be like you guys have
just
5 people with votes.
I think just going through. I'm still on the Coach of the Year. Like, I'm just going through. It has to be a 1 seed. Like most of these are just 1 seeds.
I mean, I would be shocked if it's not Monty, to be honest.
I guess
I mean,
this one's George Karl. He's got the 57-25. That was the Iggy year. He's the lowest. He's a 3 seed. He's the
he
lowest.
got fired too. All these coaches of the years get fired.
Except for Pop. Oh, Thibs got it.
Pop will never get. I think if the Suns are 2 games behind the Jazz, the narrative is still true, and it's not enough.
I can see. I just think they have a hard stretch coming up. I think they're gonna drop some games,
including the Knicks.
Mostly just the Knicks. The Clippers are gonna be rested by then.
Yeah, Kawhi's still out.
You have to beat the Jazz. You have to beat the Jazz again. I think if you beat the Jazz again.
I mean, Donovan Mitchell's not playing, so there's also that.
Oh my god. Do we have anything else we want to talk about in the pod tonight?
I think I'm all Gucci gang.
Perfect. I know the Coach of the Year was a nice little side topic that we brought in there. This is the kind of content we bring you here at the NBA Nightcap. Thank you for listening. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you're following the Nightcap NBA on our Instagram, NBA Nightcap, Twitter. Thank you so much for joining us, and have a great rest of your night. Bye-bye.